okay, this is going to be a video response to AntiqueLens and her video Gems for Your Genitals, which I thought was absolutely hilarious. And I really mean that. It made me laugh a lot. But before I get into my response, I just want to warn my new subscribers. I've got about 1,000 new subscribers in the past 6 or 7 weeks, and most of you people probably haven't sussed out yet that I'm a professional body piercer, so I thought I better say so. It's not the type of thing that I normally talk about on my channel, so if that bugs you, don't worry, you won't get much of it, but I'm afraid for this video, I will be talking explicitly about below-the-belt body piercing. So if that's the type of thing that's going to gross you out, I encourage you to go ahead and find something you'd rather watch, and come back and watch my next video, which will have a completely different topic. Alright, thanks. Anyway, AntiqueLens, I loved your video. I thought it was hilarious, and I also thought the whole vajazzle thing where women buy these sort of adhesive gems and put them in a decorative way around the vagina does seem a bit silly. On the other hand, that does make me something of a hypocrite because I do have ornamental piercings below the belt myself. And the thing is, for me, my mentality as a professional body piercer, I just won't understand why someone would want something temporary. I mean, if you want to decorate yourself, then go ahead and decorate yourself. That's what I think, but I'm a go for it kind of guy. So, that's my mentality in general. Whether it's about piercing or anything else in life, if you want something, you go for it. And this is something that, the reason I'm bringing this up, I realize that your video wasn't about body piercing per se, but I noticed a lot of commenting about it. And there seemed to be a sort of negative undertone to some of those comments. And I'm interested in why these assumptions are made. I can tell you that I've pierced somewhere between 300 and 400 women below the belt. And somewhere between 200 and 300 men. So I've talked to quite a few people because you can at least double those numbers for the amount of people I've talked to who've then decided they didn't want to have it done. Probably triple those numbers, in fact. So we're literally talking about, I've had thousands of conversations, quite personal, with adults of all ages about why they are thinking about having a below-the-belt piercing. And the people who do decide to go through with it, I'm pretty well acquainted with their rationale for why they make those decisions, because I won't just pierce someone if they walk in and say, I want to have this done, unless I have some idea that they've considered it and sort of where their head is coming from, whether I think they're doing it. For example, if someone's doing it for a bet, which you do sometimes get guys daring each other to do it, I won't, I'm not going there. They can go somewhere else for that as far as I'm concerned. I'm not getting into that. But if someone wants it for their own personal benefit, whatever that is for them, it's not my place to judge at all. And I don't think it's yours. I don't think it's anybody's. Body piercing is one of the most personal decisions people make about themselves. In many ways, it's a very selfish, self-indulgent thing to do. The notion that people get pierced as a fashion accessory, for the benefit of other people, to show off, is certainly true for some cases. It would be naive to suggest otherwise. But I can tell you that the vast majority of people that get pierced because they want to for their own personal reasons. And they do range anywhere from fashion victim to, identity crisis, to self-affirmment, to, couples bonding with getting pierced at the same time. There's loads and loads and loads of different reasons that I think are quite personal and valid. So you really can't lump it in. And when it comes to below the belt piercings for women, there's an assumption that seems implicit in some of the comments that I really want to step on. I mean, if you guys honestly think that women are getting pierced below the belt for the benefit of men, I can only laugh at that. Most men that I talk to are afraid of women with piercings below the belt. They are intimidated by it because they don't think they'll know what to do with it. Okay? That's a fact. I know. I've talked to hundreds of men about it, and they're scared of it, okay? And a lot of women are hip to this, okay? But that's not the reason they do it sometimes, but some of them are aware of it. I know women who have lost their boyfriends because they wanted to get the piercing. The boyfriend said, I don't want you to get it. And they said, well, it's, tough because I'm getting it, and they break up over it. I also know women who unfortunately have taken their piercings out because they got a boyfriend who, just couldn't get his head around it. Pardon the expression. So yeah, that was so bad. It was completely not deliberate. Anyway, so that just completely threw me off. Yeah, I'll have to get back to that in a second. But the serious thing is, there are two different kinds of piercings below the belt. There are your functional piercings, which add some kind of sexual enhancement or pleasure, and then there are your ornamental piercings like what I have. And ornamental is exactly what this whole vajazzle thing is. And I suppose the benefit of it is that it's not permanent, it won't leave a scar. And from that sort of point of view, it's, gives people the buzz of decoration without the risks inherent in body piercing. I guess that's probably the way they sell it. You know, it's the whole thing to me about judging what other people do with their private parts, I just find appalling. I mean, mine are mine. The whole point of me doing what I've done, each one of my 5 rings has its own significance. How many of them? 3 of them were done, well, 2 of them were done by one girlfriend, one was done by another, and the other 2 I did myself. And they all had a reason for being done at the time. Okay? Um, so And it's ornamental to me. It doesn't serve any functional purpose. It doesn't have to. It makes me feel good about me. And all the validation that I need to get it done, and all the validation anybody else needs to get it done, is simple 3 words. I want to. That's it. If you want to for your own reasons, no one else has to validate those reasons for you. And I don't really like this whole idea that people think there's a way other people's genitals should be. Individual choice is where it's at, and none of us are any better than each other's choices. As regards body piercing, of course there are inherent risks with body piercing, and people should take the process seriously, and you should definitely give it long and careful thought before considering getting a below the belt piercing. But this is one of the reasons I charge more for below the belt piercings than other parts of the body, because I want to make sure people have considered it properly. Um, And also, quite frankly, if I'm going to have to touch someone below the belt, I'm going to be compensated for it. So, anyway, gloves on or not, it's still very personal. So that's all I've got to say about it. I really do think there's a little bit too much judgmentalism sort of implied, and an awful lot of assumptions which are just wrong. Most women that get pierced below the belt get pierced below the belt because, quite frankly, they're going to come more often and harder. And that is a fact. Hood piercings in particular are extremely effective. And I don't think anyone should be criticized for wanting more pleasure in their life. Do you?